What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sussy Stuff. My name is Blythe,
And I'm Emma.
and we are here with a new segment called Locker Room Talk, where we're going to be bringing you all of the college football drama, everything that's going on, what we want to talk about, our opinions, and just some drama that we all love, just stirring up in the college football world. We were trying to make a video about signing day. And if you're a fan, you know that signing day used to feel like Christmas morning. I mean, for me especially, I have no brothers. And like we've talked about in previous episodes, I grew up a lot like Cheryl on Remember the Titans. I love football. I came from a sports background with a grandfather that was a high school coach and an uncle. And so I would go to school and talk about everything that was happening in college football with the guys in my class. And I definitely remember on signing day, I would have my computer. I'd be watching signing day in the corner of the classroom. Sorry, teachers. Um, but it used to be such a big deal. And I feel like with this portal and just the changes of college football, the significance of this day is just diminished.
And you look at last year, 3,843 FBS players entered the transfer portal in 2024, which broke the previous year's record. And then if you look at all of college football, 11,000 football players entered this transfer portal. So it's just not as I don't know, special anymore to me because I'm like, these kids flip flop all over the place. Last year in the SEC alone, there were 313 transfers out and we had 180 transfers in. The most of those transfers out came from Alabama, of course, because they lost Nick Saban. But this is just the new world that we live in because of NIL. Now, Ryan Williams isn't going anywhere because he just got a tattoo on his leg, insert photo here, of a scripted A. So that man is loyal, which we really appreciate in this day and age. But I feel that lacking across the board. I know um that you need to make money, and I agree with that, because you are putting your bodies on the line. This is a televised event. This event makes so much money. The sport makes so much money, and the players should get that. But we've talked about it before. There needs to be some parameters in place, and we hope there are going to be parameters in place because it takes away the joy of
Yeah.
signing day. I'm like, I don't, I love the players that are coming into my team, and I'm so excited that they're going to wear crimson and white all next year. But it's like, is it going to last longer than that? I don't know. And so that's where my gripe is. But I mean, there have been success stories for sure. I know Jaden Daniels transferred into LSU. He won the Heisman. Another Heisman winner, Kalen Williams, transferred to USC. Top transfers like Travis Hunter at Colorado, Dylan Gabriel at Oregon, and Cam Ward at Miami. They've made significant impacts by transferring to these schools. 9 first-round draft picks in 2024 were former transfers. So this is not a bad thing overall, but there are consequences with it. And the consequences is I'd care less about signing day because I don't know if these players are going to be on my team next year.
Exactly. And I saw an interesting tweet that I definitely agree with, and it's kind of cool when you put it like this. But the person said, a thought on college football. It's kind of like the minor league baseball system. You don't know who these guys are. They won't be here long, and you cheer for them because you wear their team's uniform. But with the NIL and the transfer portal, like you don't know how long they're going to be there. And I think just as our world in general, I think people struggle with commitment just in a lot of different areas. And now we've seen that with college football. And it used to mean something when that player had all of the hats laid out, and sometimes they'll trick you picking up different ones a million times. That used to aggravate me so much.
Well,
But
they still do it.
do it. But it used to mean something. Like when you put that hat on, you were committing. You were committing for 3 years if you enter the draft, but you were committing to the coach, to your teammate, to your programs. Now we have people that don't even commit to staying the full season and playing in their bowl game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
what
people
has
transferring, saying I'm not playing anymore. I'm redshirting
yeah,
during the middle of a season. That's happened numerous times this year, and it's crazy.
it is crazy. I mean, there has to be some kind of cap, some kind of rule. I mean, obviously, none of us are opposed to the freedom of movement for these players and being able to, profit off of your name and likeness. I mean, you absolutely should, but there has to be some kind of change because I don't know. I just think that this is not the way that it needs to go. I think college football will lose a lot of fans because of this. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, honestly, money, like we all know, is the root of all evil. And it brings out the worst in everyone. And we can see that now, even in the college football space as well.
Yeah, and I look at teams like LSU this year who had Bryce Underwood, who was pre-committed to them, but then he went and switched to Michigan after he got some donors there, like a Dave Portnoy, who could pay him more to go there. And I understand Michigan is still this great program. They're building back from what they had at that national championship year. But you bought into Brian Kelly. You bought into LSU. You bought into how they had Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels and now Garrett Nussmeier, these quarterbacks who lead these terrific offenses for this team. So that is the program you bought into, and then you got bought out by another school, which again is fine. And I think it's a slippery slope to say, no, that's bad, they can't do that, because they absolutely should profit for their likeness. But I want them to stay at these schools for at least 2 years. You're going to a school for a coach, you're going to a school to play for a team. That's why I know Dabo gets so much flack for not using the transfer portal, and I think he will this upcoming year just based on what happened this season. But
Gotcha.
he has kids that want to come to his school for
Mhm.
him, for
Yeah.
what he is bringing to the table, for what that program brings to the table, for the culture of that program. So I respect that profusely. As much as we want to make fun of him and be like, you need transfer portal. I cannot believe you didn't use the transfer portal. You put one offer in, didn't even get that student. So I get both sides of it, but that makes signing day to me a little less important. I know it's important to go out and recruit these students in high school. I know the significance of that. I know the significance of for the students of where they choose to go. But at the end of the day, when the next year comes a knocking and the transfer portal opens up, it's like, are you even going to be here? So you
Yeah.
didn't buy into the program, you didn't buy into the coach. And I know there's pros and cons, but that's why we weren't really enthused when we made that video. And so we were like, well, let's not put that out there and let's just voice our feelings.
Yes, and I really think that with the whole transfer portal, like if you have a better opportunity for you to be able to go play, you get injured, whatever it may be, yes, absolutely. But what's happening, I feel like too, is a lot of these players don't want to wait their turn. And that waiting your turn, being fully ready, and being able to compete with the guys that are in front of you, that's the whole point. You don't get to just say, okay, well, I got to wait my turn here. So I'm just going to jump ship somewhere else where I can just go ahead and start and not wait my turn.
And you bring up a good point about waiting your turn. I think that's a big thing, especially in the NFL. You ruin quarterbacks by putting them in too quickly. Bryce Young, who's making a resurgence now, and I'm very proud of him, but his first year was rough. Whereas Michael Penix is sitting behind Kirk Cousins at the Falcons right now, and he is getting a chance to learn and grow from this seasoned veteran in the NFL. And that's what it should be in college too. Some of these students aren't ready to play day one. You have your standouts like Ryan Williams, who absolutely is. But sometimes it's better to sit back, learn the speed, because the high school to college switch, it gets faster. And then the college to the NFL, it gets faster. And you have to learn that, or else you make mistakes, or else you can risk injury. So that's another great point, is like sitting and waiting your turn.
It makes you better. Why would you want to not compete against the guys in front of you that weren't good? That competition makes you better. You will only become a better athlete. I mean, think about the people that you're doing reps with every single day. First team versus second team, third string. I mean, you are getting better by the people that are in your room.
Exactly. And I'm also sitting here being like, there's so much lack of discipline across the board, not just on the field, but off the fields because they have so much power now. And I think it just needs to be balanced a little bit because if they're like, okay, you're not going to play me, you're not going to give me, you're not going to get the ball to me, you want to sit me out for a game or two, fine, I'm leaving. And it's like that shouldn't be it. Like some of these players need the discipline of you need to earn your role each and every time you're out there on the field, or else we run into years like this year where it's been crazy with the lack of discipline, especially with the amount of penalties across the board. And it's like you didn't see that maybe a few years ago, especially from those top programs. Which is what Nick Saban gripes on a lot too, and that's why he left. He doesn't like the transfer portal. He doesn't like NIL. He likes what it does for the players. He likes that it supports their growth and development and pays them fairly for what they're bringing to the table. But he doesn't like the fact that you can just go to a school and then if you're not happy because the coach yelled at you one day or they're having to sit you out of a game to be like, no, you're messing up. You really got to hold on to these skills that you can just leave and say, I'm not going to be here anymore. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like having to recruit in high school and NIL. I understand people are going to be like, well, he's stacking the bench. He's stacking the bench. Well, yes, because players learn from each other. Mac Jones sat behind Tua and Jalen Hurts. And then he became that 2020 QB who won the national championship. So sometimes it's worth the wait.
Mhm.
Um, and I think more players need to realize that, or there needs to be some mechanism in place that keeps players at these schools at least for 2 years to
Yeah.
really ingrain them in this program and be like, when you are making this decision on signing day, which is what we're talking about, um, that it means something,
Mm.
that it truly, truly means something. Because it might mean something in the moment right now, but 6 months from now, it might not.
But if you are signing, this is one thing that every year just, oh, I can't stand it. At least know how to say the name of the school that you were signing to. Either blank university or the University of blank. Please just get that part right. I mean, because if you were signing here, please know the name of the school. That kills
Absolutely.
me. That kills me on Twitter. I'm like, how do you not know how to say the name of the place that you've been every single week?
University of Clemson. It's Clemson
Me
University.
too. Like this is insane. Like this is crazy.
But with all that to be said, we wanna hear your thoughts. We wanna hear what you think about signing day, what you think about the transfer portal. Of course, signing is important, and we're very happy for the kids that are committing to these college programs, but we want this to be a true commitment. We want them maybe not to go as far as Ryan Williams and get it tattooed on their leg, but we want to have some loyalty to the programs that they're buying into, at least for a few years. And then if it doesn't work for them, of course, move on and go find a coach that does work for you. But we just want a little bit more passion for where you're going. And I don't want it to be this like, I'm going to be here one year, here the next year, and then maybe I'll go stop by over there and hit all the conferences. So hopefully it changes in some way. We want the kids to have power, but at the same time, it needs to be a little less at this moment in time. They are still teenagers.
Yes, they are still teenagers. But we would love to hear your thoughts. So please drop them in the comments, drop them on the social media videos. We love interacting with you guys. We have so much more fun stuff to talk about in these next upcoming weeks. And thank you so much for watching as always. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.